Good evening. Welcome to another episode of Principles of Leadership. Leadership is focused on extending opportunities for everyone. We at SHA Data University helps individuals, freshers, and professionals for developing their skill in database technology or data engineering so that they can become leaders in these technologies. Since every leadership has got a principle, so to know more about the principles, today my guest is Anupam Chatterjee. He is a CEO of uh, Vitamin. Let me call him on board. Good evening, Anupam.
Hello Sanjay, good evening.
Yeah. So, like you have got more than 20 years in the industry. It's
Yep,
not a small journey. And
yep.
can you just share your journey, like how you started and how you become the CEO?
I'm actually born and brought up in Patna.
Okay.
So I did my entire schooling from Don Bosco Academy, Patna. Then, actually, from a very young age, when I was introduced in class sixth to computers,
Mhm.
uh, somehow I got a liking to it. So from there on itself, there was no turning back. So before I had completed schooling, my 10th, I had already won in a couple of Olympiads, and it was just like the subject and me, we were meant to be together. So initially at that time, we did not have so many MITs, BITs, and the options were still quite restricted. I'm talking about the 90s, the mid 90s.
Yeah.
So my father at that time was also quite restricted that nah, not computers, do something else. I was also very good with English, so he wanted me to be a lecturer in English. So somehow I had to go behind his back, and I did my degrees in computer science. And usually, what happens is, when you are chasing a subject, and like uh, especially with youngsters, we lack a little bit of direction. You know, we really don't know where we want to go. So that is why I ended up doing advanced diploma in computer hardware, advanced diploma in computer networking. I was a novel certified administrator. Then I was an MCSE, and then eventually, like then softwares I was already doing. I was doing MCA. So, but like this MCAC and like a novel certified administrator and all that, practically until this date, throughout all these years, I have never been able to use it. It was just something I did, like many people do. At that time, I was not sure where I wanted to establish myself, and then by that time, I was out of college. Like I was already working as a freelance web developer.
Okay.
Me and I had a sort of mentor in Patna. So before we had finished college, like I had already done Bihar Industrial Association, Bihar Chamber of Commerce, Bihar Tourism, both Bihar Tourism, all these websites we had done.
Okay.
So
Yeah, and in which year you have done all these websites?
that would be the late 90s, you know.
Okay.
So like while I was just, in plus two, I was waiting for my results for plus two.
Hmm.
Uh, so I started off quite early. And then in 2004, I moved to Kolkata. And initially, I made friends with a guy. His name was Mr. Vikas Jain, and
Hmm.
he wanted to form an IT company. So his entire lineage was in some other business, but he was interested in IT. So he offered me that let's team up and maybe we can do something. So it had only been 3 days since I had landed up in uh, Kolkata.
Hmm.
So I accepted the offer, like, and then that is how we started a company. So, like at that point of time, I did not have a computer with me. So every day I used to go to his place in the morning. I used to work at his residence, and then he did not have internet, so we used to go to a cyber cafe which was opposite his house in the streets,
Right.
and we used to upload files from there. So that is how that
Hmm.
company started.
Yeah, I know because that time nowadays people are like moving with internet. In our time,
Yeah.
I can this thing. Our time we used to go to cyber cafe, and like they used to charge
Yeah.
for per hour basis. I think 50 rupees or something like
Yes.
that they used to charge.
Yes.
Okay. Yeah,
So that is
and
how we started.
that time we don't have even the pen drive. We have got the floppy disk. Remember
Floppy
that we used
disk.
to,
Yeah.
yeah, we used to take that
Yeah.
floppy disk for uploading anything, and the disk got damaged or virus affected. Many times happened with this
Yes.
thing.
Like floppies were so vulnerable, you know, they were so fragile.
Hmm.
And then that is how we started that company. And uh, like with then within a month or so, we rented a small office. The office was only as big as the two of us could hardly squeeze in, you know,
Hmm.
like there was no space for a third person. So then
Okay.
within the next 3 4 months, like we were able to get in some clients, we were able to do some good work, and
Hmm.
then we rented a bigger office. So over the next 1 year, we were around 30 35 people in that office. I had hired everyone, I had trained everyone. But then, you know, eventually I started to have some ideological differences with this gentleman. And we were great friends, you know, we were around the same age, we
Hmm.
had the same kind of problems, you know, youngsters, like young people. We have work, we have got like all kinds of issues at that time. So then I chose to retain the friendship and just skip out the work part. So that is why I quit that company. I told him like, please keep it. Like the company is now quite stable, so I don't think I am really required here. You can take the journey forward from here, and I just left. Then I was invited into another company because I had that background, you know, with all that work and all that. So
Hmm.
I got a job quite like quite fast. I got a job within a few days uh, with a good company in Kolkata in Salt Sector 5. So like I joined as a project manager over there.
Okay.
So I was working there for hardly 6 months. So during this 6 months, you know, like I already got three promotions and like salary raises and all that. But the management was very happy with me.
Hmm.
But then again, I was getting, you know, the work culture was very disturbing. So
Right.
like I used to go
So
to
was
office
that
like
a
office.
MNC or it's a normal private limited company?
Yeah, like you know, every day the office entering time was fixed, and like
Hmm.
the exit time, I would be very lucky if I could leave office before midnight. You know, so during winters, like when I would be walking down the streets towards my house, like even the dogs wouldn't turn their heads to look at me. They would think that, oh, this is more miserable than we are. So that is why, like you know, I was not very happy, and then I got an opportunity from a German company. So I got an opportunity from a German company. So that is when I took that opportunity. It was good. I got the offer as a project manager,
Hmm.
and that is when the major turn came in my life.
Right.
So I quit my job and I joined that German company. I took their offer, and now I was in a scenario where like they were working with a technology called Tipo 3, and
Hmm.
this was a CMS framework.
Hmm.
Like at that time, it was April 2006. So in April 2006, we did not have Google Translator. So there were no online translators available. The
Right.
entire documentation for Tipo 3 was in German.
Mm.
And to top the misery, like you know, like all my colleagues were actually Germans, including my boss.
Okay.
And and like you know, many of these German people they don't speak English.
Hmm.
So Then I was with a new technology where the entire documentation was in a foreign language. I had no means of getting it translated. So I had to dig up the entire code and discover the whole system by myself in order to be able to work with it.
Wow, great.
But within 1.5 months or so, I had completely mastered it, and
Hmm.
that is how I became a Typo 3 expert in 2006. So, I am associated with this Typo 3 community since 2006,
Hmm.
and I was actually quite privileged to be working with one of the biggest European companies, web developer. Currently, they are the largest European web development company. So I
Okay.
did get some very nice mentors over there, like the
Mhm.
director Stefan Bulkoma, like we had Hans and like several other people. You know, maybe some of them might be over here also today because I invited them. So it was really a great experience working with them, a really
Right.
learning experience.
Hmm.
So I was with that German company for more than 8 years, and then suddenly, actually, in 2011, my father passed away, and there was some crisis back at home. So I had to then quit my job. I had to come back to Kolkata, and like I had to settle down here. And then at that time, that was the big challenge before me because I had, for the past 8 plus years, I had
Hmm.
worked on a technology which nobody knew over here in India. You know, there were
Right.
hardly any companies who were working on Tipo 3. So that means like nobody in India wanted a Tipo 3 expert, and they wanted people. They wanted people on technologies which I was not knowing. So yeah, I was a project manager, so I had project management skills. I had other soft skills, but technical skills, what they wanted, like I was not very apt with
Confident
it.
of. Yeah.
Yeah. So, moreover, I felt like I would become a fresher if I went to one of these companies. So, the only option for me left at that time was to start my own agency, which would be a dedicated Tipo 3 agency. So, that is how in 2014, I started my own agency that was Vrisini Infotech LLP. So, because I'm a little bit of, I'm actually quite spiritual person. So at that time, I was a big follower of Lord Shiva, and Vrishini is another name for Lord Shiva. So that is why this company got the name Vrishini Infotech LLP. And from the very beginning, from 2014, Vrishini has been a dedicated Tipo 3 agency, but Tipo 3 is an enterprise level content management system. So once one of my clients, he jokingly remarked that, if you are working only on Tipo 3 and somebody needs a simple website, so using
Hmm.
Tipo 3 is something like you want a matchstick and you are going to charter the plane in order to get that matchstick. You can't use the enterprise level systems for simple websites. So
Right.
that is when we thought that yeah, we need something lesser, but something really stronger. So that is why we then brought in a new technology that was Contao. Then again, Contao was again something which we had never heard of. So for me, again, it was something new, and like I really enjoy learning new things. So it took me one full night. I was awake trying to install Contao, get it working. It's a PHP framework. But then eventually we had Contao, and then in 2018 we became an official association member of Contao. And currently outside Europe, Vrisini Infotech is the only company which has the official certification from the Contao Association. So we are the only authorized Contao partner outside Europe for Contao, and we are an elite community member for Tipo 3. So that is about me and this company.
Okay. Good. So, as a if I say from the beginning, you have developed a website and the technology that you have mastered in for a long time, and now you are managing a team, right? So, what are the principles that you follow as a leader?
See, like leadership, I have actually been a project manager, team leader, for a very long time, since 2004. So I was that with the first company, I was a project manager with the second. Leadership is not about, for me, the definition varies from individuals to
Right.
individuals. So for me,
Right.
I have always believed that a leader has to lead by examples. If I try to be the boss, if I try to be the leader and tell people that yeah, you have to do this, you have to do that, then I'm delegating. Yeah, of course, delegating the work and having control over it is one of the primary responsibilities of a leader. But then the team needs to have confidence in the leader that yeah, if we get stuck, then there is someone who can always bail us out. That is
Right.
when the team can be really confident about the leader. If the team is
True.
not very confident about the leader, then the team starts to get shaky, especially when the challenges are intense, like when you have critical things, like when you are trying to work on stuff which you are trying to do for the first time. So the team always needs to have a trust on their leader, you know.
Right.
So the leader necessarily does not have to be a draconian person. The leader does not necessarily have to be a darling of the team. So the leader has to be somewhere in the middle, you know. Someone the team knows that yeah, if we are not doing something, if we are failing, then he will smash us down most probably. But in the next minute, he will also just tell us that oh, okay, come on, like it's fine.
Right.
Let's try to do that
Right.
once again.
Very true.
You know. So leadership is not about some dominion or something like that. Leadership is always about leading a team, motivating them, keeping them always encouraged, keeping them encouraged so that they are also like very ambitious to perform. They are eager to perform. They are eager to prove themselves because
Right.
usually we are working with youngsters. These youngsters, when they come out of universities, when they come out of institutions, they are fresh. So like in our company we also work with freshers, because if we are talking about experienced people, like in India, where do I find a contour developer, or where in
Mm-hmm.
India do I find a type 3 developer? Usually they are the people who are leaving my company. So I
Right.
won't, I can't expect to hire someone from outside. So there's no point of talking about experience when it comes to my company. So what we
Right.
do is like we always take people, we always take in freshers, and then we train them. We mentor them, we groom them. So basically, I also act as a mentor. So like
Okay.
yeah, I carry the label of a CEO, but like I also teach to these youngsters.
Okay.
So I
Very
take
true.
that upon myself to mentor them.
Mm-hmm.
So a leader has to be primarily a mentor. He has to be someone who has the respect of the team and
Mm-hmm.
someone the team can always look up to. They can trust,
Right.
you know,
Right.
and they are
Very
not
true.
scared to approach. If they are stuck somewhere, see what happens is like if my team is scared of me, then they will not try to come me when they are stuck with something. So in the end, like they are actually trying to do something which is beyond their capacity. They are not coming to me. So at the end, the job is not getting done.
Right.
So they should feel comfortable to approach me, whenever required. So I am available. So that is what my team knows. That first we have to try and we have to think when we can approach the boss.
Right. That is actually the thing is that whenever any team member stuck, they should know that okay, someone is there who can guide me, who can
Bail me out.
help me out in my
Who can always
whatever.
bail me out.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is the main thing
So
a
the
leader
the
should
team
follow.
should the team should have the trust, that yeah, I am not alone.
Right.
No team member should ever feel that I am alone.
Hmm.
Because at the end of the day, the leader is also a part of the team. He is
Right.
not outside the team.
Yes.
That he should never forget.
That's very true. Very true. So now, there are many professionals, not only in IT but in other domains also. They all like in their respective domains. This professional wants to be a leader in their respective domains. So, what do you suggest to all those professionals who wants to be leader in their respective domains?
See, this term leader is also sometimes quite misinterpreted. I'll try to explain that with an example. This is an example which I had received once in Germany. So I'll just tell you the English version of it. So it's basically a small story. The story is that once there was a student in a university. So he was a great student. He was the topper student. He was brilliant. So when he passed out from the university, so the university decided to offer him a job. in the university, in the college. So he became a professor, after passing out. So he became a teacher. So then he started teaching, and he was brilliant with teaching also. So the students were getting great marks. The students were really doing great under him. So then the
Right.
college became very happy with him. So they thought like, okay, let's make him the headmaster. So usually what happens, the transition that we follow here, the hierarchical transition. So then they made him a headmaster. So he became a headmaster. Now, along with like teaching responsibilities, he had somewhat more of an administrative job also.
Hmm.
But this guy was very good. So he was able to somehow balance it, and he was able to perform. Then the college thought, wow, this guy's really doing great, let's make him the principal. So now what they did was they made him the principal. So once he became the principal, he's no longer the teacher. So now he is a full on administrator. And now they have replaced him with another teacher. You know? So what happens is this teacher might not be as good as he used to be when he was a teacher, because he shone as a teacher. He was bright when he was a very good teacher. That is how he scaled up. But
Right.
now he is no longer a teacher. He has been replaced with another individual who might
Right.
not be as great a teacher as he was. And now he is doing something where he might not be able to perform that well. So what happens is, like due to this whole scaling up process, like now we have, instead of one competent individual who was teaching, we end up having two incompetent people in the whole system. The teacher
Hmm.
as well as the principal.
Right.
So that is the mistake which many people over here they make. This is not the system in Europe. I have worked with a German company for over 8 years. Over there, like they don't promote people just like that. So suppose if there is a developer, so that developer might remain a developer for 30 years, you know, and they might have a new guy who might become a team leader. So
Right.
officially, if we would be taking the Indian perspective, so like they will say, oh, like now the boss is the senior guy is the team leader. Like then, what is the definition of senior and junior? Is senior and junior the hierarchy system, or is senior or junior, about what that person is bringing into the table, or
Right.
how much an individual is adding value to his work or his workplace? So this is something which we forget over here. So people think like becoming a leader means like getting a
I'm
promotion,
the
getting to
boss.
the next rank, getting to the next rank. So if you are not able to do that, then you are not doing great. You are stuck somewhere.
Right.
Actually, in Europe, they don't have that practice. They will reward this developer in various other ways. Like this developer might be getting three times the salary of that project manager. They don't
Project
care.
manager.
Like
Right.
even the project manager will not complain.
Right.
But over here in India, the system is somewhat a little bit of a
Different.
it's a
And that's the
paradox.
reason the work culture is different. Like, yeah, your story was very true. And in anywhere, I was into a Muscat also. Like, they're also like not that much as for January, but they prefer the skilled. Like, if you are skilled, then like whatever you are master in, they prefer to give the job to that only, not to everyone.
See,
So,
at the end of the day, leader
yes,
means, like as
everyone.
I said, leader means not having a tag or a label.
Hmm.
Leader means an individual upon whom other people can look up to. That is a leader.
Right.
That is the definition of
Right.
a leader. You might be just one in the group, but everybody looks up to you. Everybody trusts you. Everybody has that like confidence that this is the guy. If I'm stuck, I can go to. So that person necessarily doesn't need a tag or a label. De
Right.
facto that person leads. You know. So like that is why in I would just give the example of Germany. In Germany, what happens is people are basically given profiles based on their core competency.
Right.
So if your core competency is development, then you stay with your core competency. That is where you will excel. That is where you will become a leader of your domain.
Yes.
That is where you will become a leader of your domain. You will be the leader of the entire development section.
Right.
And for that, it's not that a team leader is the leader of a development team. The
Very true.
team leader is someone who has other soft skills. Maybe he is able to manage work. Maybe he is able to
Right.
control
Even
resources and timelines, deadlines,
yes.
client communication, all these things.
Yes. He can handle the delivery very betterly, or
Yes,
he can be the good
the work pressure.
administrative. So all other skills, yeah, this is very true.
See, because if we ideally take the project managers, so what happens is, suppose your delivery deadline is getting missed, there is still a roadblock, the client is
Mhm.
screaming, the developer is screaming, the QA team is screaming, everybody is screaming, you know.
Right.
So then this project manager has to pacify everyone. He has to keep everything under control. He has to give that confidence to the client that don't worry, we are still here, we are not running away. So we will deliver. He has to tell the QA team that it's okay, the development team is going to fix your bugs. You don't have to scream over it. And he has to tell the development team, it's okay, I'm still there. You don't have to
Yeah.
burn out. Like I'm seeing, like you will get the time that you need to do. So this is the job of a project manager. And
Right.
just if somebody was a great developer, if you promote him to a project manager, maybe he's not that good with this handling of job.
Right.
So
Yes.
we need to actually, I think, we need to understand the role of a leader. The word leader doesn't mean carrying a label or a tag. The word leader means being the best in the team with the role that you are performing.
Right. Right. Very true. Very true.
Yeah.
So now, like many non-IT freshers, they want to join IT technology or information technology. So, what you suggest, that which technology they should go for, and like the probability of getting job, if you can suggest anything for them.
Uh, Again, over here, I'll give you a very nice example I had. We had sort of a joint family. My mom and her younger sister, we were together, staying in the same house, like separated from the front but connected from the back. So, my aunt also has two kids. She has an elder daughter and a young son. So I was all as I said, I had already won an Olympiad. I was already quite good with programming and everything before I had even passed my board exams.
Hmm.
So what happens is when youngsters in your family, especially your brothers, younger brothers and all, they see that yeah, the elder brother is really he's becoming a hot shot and he's doing good. So they start admiring you, they start idolizing you. So my cousin, he's actually just like my younger brother. So he also did the same, So he started following my footsteps, and he eventually became a BTech in computer science. So he had also done the academic course curriculum for computers and everything. And then he got selected from the campus by a CMM5 company, and then he was put into support. And he was answering, yeah, okay, your mouse is not working, your browser is not working. He was doing that kind of stuff. And he was really getting very claustrophobic over it. So he told me, I said, like, okay, come back. And then I got him into another company. He started working. And then I kept getting feedbacks that he was really miserable with what he was doing. So he was just not able to develop anything. He was quite pathetic with coding and stuff. So one day, I sat with him. I told him, what is your problem? So he said, somehow coding doesn't get into my head.
Right.
I am not able to think. I am not able to deliver. So, then we spoke over something. I tried to probe deeper and deeper, try to find out, where he was actually connected. So then I realized that his mind was having the bend more towards finances and all that stuff. So then I encouraged him that quit this profession, go study something else, do something else. So
Right.
then, eventually he started doing banking courses. He gave banking exams. He got offers from nationalized banks, and today he is basically the manager with HDFC branch. So, so he
Great.
is one of the top. He is one of the. He was initially he started with ICICI, and today he is one of the managers with HDFC. He was one of the top
Great.
performers with ICICI, and today he is one of the top performers with HDFC, and he's very happy.
Right. So
So
that means his passion was into this, and he was in the wrong path, basically.
yes. So see, the thing is, like, it seems at the outset that oh, this industry is good, that industry is bad. But let's accept it. Let's admit it that today, with all the unemployment rate and all that, like, it's completely off the roof in India. So, there are like now millions of people who are unemployed in India. So, do you think any industry is there which is not saturated? So, it is
Right.
not about the
Very true.
saturation. It is not about the saturation. So, but then still over here, there are also millions of people who are still employed. So, what is the differentiating line? The differentiating line is like I now run a company, like for more than 8 years. So the thing is, the line is like, what are people looking for? People are looking for people. They are looking to hire people who can come and who can deliver. Now the question is, who can deliver? Only that person can deliver. Like I can think that, yeah, I wanted to be a fighter pilot, for instance, in my younger days. So I'm not flying planes. I'm rather sitting and writing codes and proposals and talking to clients all day. So we might think that we want to do this, we want to do that. But first of all, you need to sit down. You need to ask yourself, where do I connect? What is my domain? A student needs to know that rather than blindly pursuing something or following something or running after something because it
Right.
looks brighter. The grass always looks greener on the other side. There is a
Hmm.
saying. So something might look very green from the other side. That doesn't mean that you belong there. You know.
Right.
So you need to sit and first decide that what is good for me. If you think that yeah, I really like, I want to establish myself in IT, so you're most welcome. So the starting point would be you need to explore what is running because this IT, this the technology drift is very fast. Today something is running, tomorrow or in 5 years down the line or 10 years down the line that becomes obsolete. We know
Not
what
even
happened
five
with
years. Now
COBOL.
it's 2 years. In 2 years,
Yeah,
that can be changed. Now it's running so fast.
yeah, like what happened with COBOL. COBOL at one point of time, it was like people who were COBOL developers, they were considered as one of the most elite developers in the world. So they used
Right.
to get big paychecks and everything, a lot of facilities because they were hotshot programmers, the top
Mm-hmm.
tier of programmers. And then
Right.
suddenly, COBOL became obsolete.
Right.
And when COBOL deprecated, then what happened was, now all these people they were suddenly jobless. So that
Right.
is how uh, suddenly there can be a drift in technology. So you need to first of all follow that, what is currently hot and what is coming up,
Right.
and there you need to find out like out of everything you have to first of all create that options. So okay, these are the options, and then you have to sit down and think like, is any of this option meant for me? Yeah, all these options might be very good for other people, but is any of these options something which is connecting to me? you know if you feel that connection, that yes, then go for it. Then go for it. And once you decide that you go for it, you have to go 100%. Young people, like it's also different. The world has changed. So I think you and me, we belong to the same generation. Like during our generation, we were, I think, quite focused. Like when I would study, I would only study if I'm chasing something, like that bad habit even I have today. If I get into something, I'll not come out until I'll not sleep, I'll not eat, I'll not do anything until I've finished. It keeps haunting me. So
Right.
some people think that maybe he works like an archer. But but I personally think, that that is one of the. This is something which has time and again proven that yeah, why I am really
Right.
good with what I do.
Yeah, this happened to me also. Like when I got stuck in any program or anything, like I left everything unless and until it fixed.
Yes,
So,
if you decide to pursue something, don't live in the middle. Pursue it till
trust
the
me.
very end. Pursue it till
Yes,
the very end.
yes, and
And
you should have the passion, and that's why you have to sit
yes, the
alone.
passion is very important.
Yes,
You have to be very passionate about your work. So if you're very passionate about your work, then excellence, success, all these things they will come. Like uh, see, I have been earning a lot of money since a very young age. You know, so. So money is something which you can always earn. It's not difficult. Money is there everywhere, like in accountancy, in finance, in IT, in every industry you have
What I
money.
say is money is a byproduct.
Money you will always earn. You will always be good in terms of money. But the question is, like, if you're not happy, 5 years down the line, if you really start feeling that I'm stuck with what I'm doing, even if I'm making a lot of money, then that would be a very big disaster for you. Why? Because you have already worked 5 years from there. If you try to take a U-turn, then you have wasted 5 years. So
Yes,
it is
very
very, very crucial that when you are still young, you make the correct choice. Maybe you take a little bit of time, think about it, discuss it with seniors, discuss it with people who can really guide you, but make a
till
correct choice.
till now, like when I speak with any of candidate or some like freshers, why you want to move to IT? My friend are in IT, so I want to IT. I say, your friend, like, what is your passion? The same thing I used to tell them, like, go and find out what you are good in. IT has got many profile, many domains. In which domain you want to join? First, get that clarity, and then only you can move.
Yes.
Otherwise, you can join a course, you can do a course, but you will not get a job. So again, you will start doing another job, another course. So this way, how long you continue? So first, you find out your passion, where your passion is, and then
Yeah,
only you
see,
can.
as I said, I am a certified MCAC. Like, I am a certified mobile system administrator. But
Right.
like, I also did advanced diploma in computer hardware. I have got some advanced diploma in computer networking, telecommunication. But like, I have serious attrition towards even touching a screwdriver, to be very honest. So, like, I have never even clipped a cable in my entire life.
Hmm.
So, like, all that studies, everything that I did, like, I have never used it professionally. Yeah, it's good to say, like, you get a badge from Microsoft, MCP, like, you put it here on your coat when you go for interviews. Like, I never had to usually. And this
Right.
is actually in my entire life, to be very honest. Like, this is also one more thing, like, this present generation, I think, they are a little bit misguided when it comes to professionalism. You know
Right.
so our definition of professionalism, I don't know. Like, maybe you would differ on this. This is a very personal opinion, But I think my definition of professionalism varies from what I observe with most of the present
Yes.
generation.
Yes. Yes.
So we were very disciplined, We used to
Hmm.
respect every opportunity that we got.
Right.
If I am
Right.
into if I am into a job, I would respect that opportunity. I would give in my 100%. Like, I would try to prove myself. I would like to actually prove to myself. Like, I don't have to justify the hours. I don't have to justify the salary that I'm getting.
Right. Right.
Like,
Very true.
my output and delivery, my work is not a justification
Yeah.
to the management or to anyone as to
Anyone.
why I am getting that salary.
And even
Rather,
to ourselves also, like, yeah, what I have done, am I justify what we have done, and how what we are getting?
yes,
Like, you have to justify yourself. See, self justification is very important rather than someone else justify you. So that is the main
yes.
thing.
So you
And
have to
I must
you
say
have
that
to you
after
have
the
to
long
evaluate.
time, yeah.
You have to evaluate. Whether you are actually growing technically. So you are in the technical profession. So you are a technical person. So, like, it is not only about money. You know Growth is not only about money. Growth is about your technical growth also. If you are stagnating, okay, like, today I'm into this job, I'll jump, I'll get one more salary, I'll get 20% hike, then 6 months I'll work there, I'll again jump, get 20% more salary. So, what is the end to it? Is there no end to it? If somebody thinks there is no end to it, then most people, they are wrong.
Right.
You know why they are wrong? Because I run a company. So today, I hire a developer for 20,000. So I have expectations from him at par
Right.
with 20,000. Now if somebody comes and tells me, though, I get 50,000, so I will hire him for 50,000, but I will definitely try to make a lakh out of him every month. Why? Because it's not only about his salary, there are non-technical people, we have HR people, we have
mm,
accountants,
mm,
like there is rent, there is electricity, there is so much. So who is earning all that money? The HR is not going to do development. So at the end, like there are these money earners, and there the core team, and there are the additional team. So the core team has to bear the cost of the additional team. The additional team is also very important for the
yes, true.
functionality. So that means, like, I would expect that this guy has to make at least a lakh, or say 80,000, if he's getting a salary of 50,000. Now, if this guy has been jumping to make more money and he hits the roof, then he will not be able to justify himself. So then what happens is, like, he's stuck. So that is what happens. People keep jumping, 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 and then eventually they get stuck up somewhere. So you will end up hitting the roof someday. So see, I have I started, if even if I only take from 2004, it's more than 18 years that I am in this actively. I am in profession. So this is my fourth job. This is my fourth job.
Okay, okay.
So
So, yeah,
okay, tell me. I
yeah,
think I
like,
interrupted you. You were saying something.
yeah, I was telling like, what you said is correct. Like, if you have got a technical background, and like, I have an example. Like, uh, it's guy from UP. Okay, he is just a BA pass, normal BA pass of 2020. He came to me in that time. It was pandemic, and sir, I'm very keen of learning technology. I said, okay, fine. So join this. He completed, believe me, like within say 5 6 months, he got a job in MNC just because he has got a passion for this technology. He's from non-IT, totally non-IT background. Okay, and now currently, like, he become a data engineer now, and he's earning a good package. And day before yesterday, I called him. He said he's very satisfied and doing great. So the thing is that you have to have that passion and that dedication. Only passion will not. You have to have the dedication also,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So,
So when you
like,
hire any,
okay, tell me.
candidate, what are the qualities you look for? Are
Okay,
you look for certificates or the skill?
okay. First of all, I will start with this guy, the example that you gave. So sometimes people think that, oh, he is from an IT background. He is having a degree in computer science or something like that. So he is an IT professional. So personally, again, it varies from individual to individual. So personally, like, I think even someone who is coming from mathematics background, you know, the guy, if he is good, he has to be very analytical. So if he is an analytical guy, so he can be a perfect guy for IT. Why not?
Right.
And if he has, on top of it, if he has the passion to learn, to establish himself, then I personally believe that nothing can stop him. So yeah, of course, like, as a company, if we are thinking about hiring, then we have to. We usually go to colleges. I will not go to an arts college, for instance. I would not go to a normal BSc college, but we would go to a company, like we would go to a college where they are offering us students from computer science and instrumentation, and maybe from electronics they also offer us, because electronics also has a like a side course with computers. So yeah, essentially when we are recruiting, when we are doing campus interviews and recruiting from colleges, we only get to meet with these people, who are coming from colleges, so BTechs and MTechs. But we also are very open. We are also very open. Like, if somebody is really interested, comes to us, Like then, more than the paper that he's carrying, you know, more than the paper that he's carrying, like we try to evaluate whether that person really is willing to perform. You know, as I said, for me, the passion and that, you know, that urge, that burning desire to perform and prove himself, it carries
Right.
more weight than a piece of paper, you
Right.
know. So that is why in our HR, whenever we go for interviews and all, we also have one of the members who is quite competent with psychology. So we actually evaluate multiple aspects. We That person's job is to do a psychological evaluation whether that person is trying to tell the truth or trying to deceive us. Then we have other people, you know, like somebody is technical, somebody is this, somebody is that. So first of all, you know, like if somebody has already established himself. For instance, I can tell you about. I think when we started, I mentioned that in Patna, when I was doing all that, I had. Uh, he was like a mentor to me. He was 2 years senior to me in Don Bosco's. So he had won the national, like the national Olympiads or something. You know, he was I was still in class eighth when everybody was clapping for him in the assembly. You know, so for us, like he was like, oh, he's the big bhaiya, you know, of the school. So I used to chase him, you know. It was literally like I used to stalk him wherever he was going. Bhaiya, please, ye sikha do, wo sikha do. So he was fed up with me. I used to nag him so much. But then eventually, you know, we grew and like we became friends, we connected, and we were together doing all that stuff. So that friend of mine, you will not believe, he is
Right.
today working. He was working with. He also has almost 25 years of experience. Like he
Hmm.
was working with one of the top CMM5 companies uh, in
Great.
this country. Then he got a better opportunity, and he is one of the top guys with one of the top CMM companies of the world. So, like almost 9 months out of a year, he's outside India. He's traveling all around the world. This location, that location, on site, this side, that side. We hardly get to speak with each other. And do you know what is his highest qualification on paper? He is a physics graduate from one of the most lowly reputed colleges of Patna.
See.
He does
See.
not even have a certificate, a technical certificate with him. So he was lucky that some company in Delhi, they decided to give him a shot, you know.
Right.
So they hired him. He worked in that company for 6 years. He really was able to establish himself, and then there was no stopping him.
Yeah.
So
That is the
paper is
main thing we're
important.
looking for.
Yeah,
Skill.
paper is important. Why? Because we have to set a line somewhere, you know.
Right.
But then that is not the last thing.
Yes.
See, you can have we also have experience, you know. In all these years, we hire one of the top students from one of the top colleges. He comes in, and then, you know, every other day he wants to go somewhere else,
Hmm.
or you
Hmm.
know, he comes in and then he is not able to get a grip of what we are trying to tell him. So
Dedication was
academics is
not there.
something. See, academics is something completely different. Professionalism
Right.
is completely something different. So
Right.
someone who has been a GATE student is expected to be a good professional, but there is no assurance. On the other hand, someone who does not have a very strong paper in his support, but who is really committed, who is dedicated and really determined to prove himself,
Very
can
true.
be a bigger asset to a company. You know,
Very true. Very true.
so that is why, you know, yeah, we when we go for campus interviews, we are offered students who are from specific streams who will join the company with uh, the same degrees. But we also do off campus where we invite everyone, you know, so people can come, they can appear. Like we have our interview process, and we really, if we find someone good, then we always, you know, we are always very happy to give them an opportunity.
Okay, good. Thanks for giving your time. Yeah, many candidates, whoever, all the viewers who can go into this, I will share the link of Mr. Anupam Chatterjee in my description. They can visit their office and Yeah, and get started their IT career if they want. Thank you, Anupam, again for your valuable time.
Thank you, Sanjay. It was really a great opportunity to be here. And it was really, it's nice, these young people, if I was able to help them, or if I was able to even shed some light on any of their doubts, then I would consider myself to be very fortunate.
And that is the
And
reason we have started our this venture, because my
yeah,
mission is to place 10 million graduate in right IT job. Okay, and I'm moving
super.
towards that mission only, and for that only I'm doing all these shows and everything. So
Really
thank
a
you all.
great purpose. A great purpose, Sanjay. Thank you very much for this opportunity. Hopefully, we see us again soon.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you.